Let's begin here. So today we are going to learn how to find another part of our unit circle. We're going to find the coordinates, okay? That's the goal. So you guys don't need to draw this, but you do need to have your unit circles out. So go ahead and get out your unit circles if you haven't done so already. Okay. Now, I'm going to tell you one piece of information, and then I'm going to ask you to find 4 of the coordinates already. Okay? The radius of this unit circle is 1. Okay? And that means it's 1 everywhere. On a circle, the radius is the same all the way around. So, if I tell you guys the radius of this circle is 1, I want you guys to figure out what are your coordinates for these 4 points here. The right, the top, the left, and the bottom. If the radius is 1 unit long, what would this coordinate be here? The x value and the y value. So take a moment, ponder it for a minute. The way I'm wording this makes it harder than it needs to be, maybe. I don't know, but you guys understand this is 0, 0, right? In the middle? Okay, so if that helps. You know what? I'll take volunteers first. I don't want anybody to feel pressured, so I'll take volunteers. So let me ask. Well, anybody. So who wants? Kevin, can you tell me this one here? Huh? Go ahead.
I think it's 1, 0.
Correct.
Oh.
I told you.
No. Correct. Let me go to Marissa and then Christopher and then Danielle. So Marissa. Oh, I only need 2 more. I'm going to stop it, Christopher. I'm sorry, Danielle. Go ahead, Marissa.
0, 1.
Up here, right?
All right, I said no. Why?
Because it's over none, up 1.
Oh, right and right.
Okay, so maybe if I draw you the whole, like. Okay, you guys, you know what a graph is? This graph, right? Now, a unit circle is only 1 radius, right? So what's that point?
Oh, 1.
0, 1, right? Is that better?
Yeah.
Does that help?
Yeah.
You sure? You're not just saying that?
Okay, because you said that the portion is 1. So wouldn't it be the same for all of them?
Yeah.
Well, how come the x isn't 1?
Okay, well look where the dot's at though. It's on the y-axis, right? So the x is 0, but the y is 1.
Okay.
Now, don't you? You know what? I bet if I just started like this, if I wouldn't impose the question so crazy.
Yeah.
Right. Let's just say I drew this on the board.
And you put a dot.
And I said, okay, I'm gonna put a circle here, you guys. Can you tell me what that coordinates are?
Yeah.
I bet most of you guys would have said 0, 1, right?
Yeah.
And then if I said to you the other, working backwards, what's the radius of my circle? Would you recognize that as 1?
I don't think so.
1 up high.
I don't get it.
Do you know what a radius is? A radius is something that goes from your center to the side, right?
Oh, well, yeah, 1. I would do
They're all 1, right?
Yeah.
So the radius is 1, but the coordinates are different.
Okay.
A little bit better? All right. Yeah, there's something about that's throwing people. Maybe I'll try to present it differently to my my next block. All right, but I like torturing you guys with this stuff. So let me get. I got Marissa. Okay, go ahead, Chris.
0, -1.
Yes. Good. So make sure those are on your unit circle if you don't already have them.
And then,
So how do you find that one?
Good question.
I can get a lot.
That's the rest of today's lesson. That's not as easy. But these ones, well, this was supposed to be easy. But don't worry. I think there's just a conceptual issue there. All right. Now, I'm going to review something with you guys really quick. Ready? Let's say that this is 5. And I don't write this, just watch. And let's say that this is 60. Right? So I'm going to review with you guys stuff from 10.5. So if you need your notes that you can, but for now you can just watch. Okay, on a 30, 60, 90 triangle, you'll have a short leg and a long leg. Now to go from your hypotenuse to your short leg, you cut it in half, right? And then to go from your short leg to your long leg, you multiply that by the square root of 3, right? Or when we have a 45, 45, 90 right triangle, right?
Multiply.
You divide by, actually, the square root of 2. Now, I'm not going to write this, though, because why?
Because it's not right.
We don't like square roots in the bottom, so now we're going to do this. So that's what that leg would be. And what would this leg be? Yeah, it'd be the same, right? There you go. So just a quick review. You have it in your notes, so you might want to get those little diagrams out. I'm going to give you guys 2 problems to do. There's a reason I'm having you guys review those, because it's pertinent to today's lesson. But I got to make sure you guys understand it. So here you go. I want you guys to take a moment, and I would like you guys to do these 2 triangles, find each missing side. All answers should be in fraction form, no decimals, and no square roots in the bottom, okay? Should be rationalized, in other words.
Mr. Bailey,
Yeah.
what does triangles have to do with circles?
Ha! I will show you. That's right. Cassandra, what type of triangle is the one on the left here? 60, whatever. 30, 60, 90. Vivian, what side did they give me on this 60? They gave me the hypotenuse. Cody, how do I go from my hypotenuse to the short leg? Divide it by half. Divide it in half, which is divided by 2. And so that makes this 1/2. All right. Next, Austin, how do we go from our short leg to our long leg?
Multiply by cube root.
Square root of 3.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be,
What the heck? I know, I
I thought it was just one square.
okay, so if you don't see it, it's 1/2 times the square root of 3, right? So 1 times the square root of 3 is square root of 3, and 2 times 1 is 2. All right, so that's that one. Cassidy's not here. So, Nathaniel, what kind of triangle is the one on the right over there? Good. Good job. 45, 45, 90. Marissa, what side did they give us on the 45, 45, 90? The hypotenuse. Diana, do you remember how to get from your hypotenuse to the leg? That's right. Divide by the square root of 2. Now, if I do that, it's going to look like this. 1 over the square root of 2.
Why are you looking at me?
It was not.
No, it was her. She
All right.
tried to throw it in the trash and she missed it.
It was Maya.
Alyssa, what do I have to do here? Okay, so square root of 2 times 1 is square root of 2. Square root of 2 times square root of 2 is 2. And so this is radical 2 over 2. All right, next one we have Haley. What's B going to be? That's right, because the legs are the same on a 45, 45, 90. Now, I'm not sure how you guys wrote yours, if you used decimals, or maybe you drew your triangles to look kind of funky. So just so that we're all having, because we're going to need to look at this today to do a lot of the work we're doing. So if it's not pretty, make it pretty.
Make it priority.
You should have a 30, 60, 90. Let's put a 30 up here too, by the way. You should have a 30, 60, 90. 1 for the hypotenuse, half for the short side, and radical 3 over 2 for the long side. Put a 45 here as well. Radical 2 over 2, and radical 2 over 2. So if you need to make it look pretty, make it look like this. I'll give you a moment. So now we get to answer the question, what the heck do triangles have to do with circles? So we're going to be doing some math drawing, and I don't want you doing it on your unit circles. So what we're doing is we're just going to draw some quick little ghetto circle sketches so that we can do it on our paper, and then we're going to put the final perfect answer on our template, okay? So let's do our first little ghetto circle. Probably only needs to be about maybe 1 inch radius, okay, on your paper. All right. So I'm going to ask Ale, would you give me an angle in the first quadrant, please? Any angle you like in the first quadrant. Huh? Which one? 35 is not, well, okay, that's true. That's true. Give me a special angle, though. One of our ones that are on the unit circle. Sorry, I wasn't specific. 45 is good. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how we can use the special right triangles to find the coordinates on the unit circle. That's our goal today, right? Is to find those coordinates. We're going to use the triangles that we just drew to do that. So, first thing that we're going to, I'm going to give you some steps on this, is we're going to put a dot at the angle we're interested in. So let's do that. Dot right about there, right? Isn't that where you guys would say the 45 is at? Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to draw our radius. And when we do that, we're going to make sure we put a 1 on it, right? So I'm going to come from my center, and I'm going to draw a radius straight to that. And I told you guys that on the unit circle, the radius is always 1, right? Okay. The next thing we want to do is we want to... The next thing we want to do is we want to find our angle. Or I'll just put label the angle. So we're going to put a little arrow there, right? That's our angle. And how many degrees was that?
45.
45. So we're going to put a 45 degree there. Now here comes the magic move. Here comes the magic move. Ready? We're going to, for this one I'm not going to write words. I'm just going to draw a picture. We're going to, from our dot, we're going to draw a line straight down to the x-axis. Okay, so from our dot, I'm going to draw a line straight down. And what do you see now?
A triangle.
It's a 45, 45, 90 right triangle, right? All right, now why does that matter? Well, here's why it matters. Because now I know the legs of that triangle, right? We just figured it out. We said that the legs were what?
45?
The legs.
Oh, they're the same.
They are, but what were they? We did it on the last slide.
Oh.
It was radical 2 over 2, and? Good, right? Now, guess what those are? Those are your coordinates. Let me show you why. Because if I want to go from my origin to here, I have to go over how much?
Square root of 2.
And up how much? That's your x value and your y value. I would keep everything as radicals of fractions.
So can we write that?
Yeah. Now this is what. Now what I want you to do is go to your actual unit circle, and I want you to find the 45-degree point, and I want you to put those coordinates on there. Okay.
Wow, so like we have to do this?
You'll see. It's gonna get easy in about 2 seconds. Well, and give me 10 more minutes, and you guys are gonna see that it's actually pretty easy. All right. Here he goes. I'm gonna let's do another one. This one's gonna be like a guided practice. So let's draw another circle on our notes, and I'm going to ask Alex to pick another angle from our unit circle in the first quadrant here. 30. So he's going to go at 30. So we're doing the 30-degree one. Now I'm going to walk you guys verbally through the steps, and then I'm going to let you guys do it on your own here. So step 1 is to put your dot on your circle where it should go. So go ahead and do that. You're feeling a little unsure, check your answer with a neighbor after you're done. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to draw your radius and make sure you label it as 1 to that dot, right? So from the center to the dot.
Is it always going to be 1, like no matter what?
That's, yeah, they call it the unit circle because unit means 1. The radius is 1 everywhere. Next, next you're going to label your angle.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and put your label your angle on there. Next, you're going to draw a line straight down from your dot to the x-axis. Bless you. Straight down from your dot to the x-axis. The next thing you got to do is now we got to decide what kind of a special right triangle are we looking at here. Good. Now we already have figured out what those sides are. We've already figured out that the long side is radical 3/2, right? And we've already figured out that the short side is a half. So label them. Label the legs. Now that you've got your legs labeled, this is actually an important step. It may not be obvious to you. Now that you've got your legs labeled, your job is to figure out what's the x and what's the y there. Remember, x is how far over, y is how far up, right? Want to check your answer with the neighbor? I'm going to call on you in just a moment to share out your answer. And Tia, what did you get for your coordinates here? You're very close, but not quite. Here's the thing. Yeah, what's up, Daniel? Flip them. Now let me show you why, because that's actually important. It's an easy thing to miss, but I'll explain why the order matters. Because didn't our triangle look like this, right? Now where's my long leg? It's this one, right? And my height is half. So x is the how far over number, right? And y is the how far up number. So I have to go over how far? Radical 3/2. So that's your x value. Okay? So the horizontal number is your x value. The vertical number is your y value. Okay? So I'm going to let you guys do another one here. This time you're going to do the 60, the one that we haven't done yet. So
45.
go ahead and do the 60.
Oh.
Go ahead and do the 60. I'm not going to walk you through it verbally this time. I'll let you guys do it yourself from beginning to end. Circle. So right now, you should have your first whole quadrant completed on your unit circle. All right. We're going to do something else now. We're going to draw another unit circle.
Example 2.
So here's what I want you guys to do now. I'm going to ask Danielle, can you pick any angle that is in quadrant 3 or 4 for me? That's not none of the axis ones, just the ones in this. Huh? 120? That's 2. Give me 3 or 4.
Oh.
135. That's also quadrant 2. But you know what? Maybe it would be easier. Maybe it would be easier to do quadrant 2 first. Let's start with quadrant 2. So I'm going to do what you said, 120. I'm going to do that first. So same steps here, guys. Ready? Draw a dot. Right?
Going there, or we're doing quadrant?
I decided we would switch it. She said 120. We're going to do quadrant 2. So put a dot at 120. Draw your radius, right? It's always 1. Now, this is where things get interesting. We're going to draw our angle. Now, she said 120, right? So things are going to get a little bit different here. Draw a line straight down from your dot to the x-axis. Now, there's a complicated way to get the answer, and then there's an easy way. But I'm just going to say, obviously, I don't care what this is, right? I want this angle right there. So I'm going to ask somebody if they know what it is. Brianna, what is it? 30 is a good guess, but it's wrong. What do you think, Alyssa? 60. Why is it 60? There you go. Okay, so here's the thing. It's either going to be right down the middle, in which case we know it's going to be 45, right? Or it's going to be kind of a bigger angle, like this is a little bit wider, so that's a 60. Or it's going to be a really skinny one, which we know is 30. You're only going to have those three options. Now, that's the easy way. Now, the long way, yes. Yeah. The long way is just you have to figure it out. And I'm going to show you one example. The thing is, the example I'm going to show you is not always going to work because it depends on what quadrant you're in. It's always going to be different. So I think Alyssa had pointed out that this is 180, right? All the way across. You guys agree with that?
Yeah.
So what would I have to take away from 180 so that it's just 120? Right? So that would have to be 60. Minus the 180, solve for x, basically. So we did this before, right? Where you found the missing piece. Remember that? Same thing. It's the same thing. Okay, so you got to know how to find that missing piece. But anyway, now that that's done, we're good. So that's the only part that's new. Well, actually, there's one more new part at the end. So now I know this is 30, 60, 90, which means that what's my base?
1/2.
And what's my height?
Divided by 32.
Which means that my x-coordinate is what?
Divided by 2. 1/2.
1/2. But here's the other new thing. And some of you guys already know what it is. What is it? We need a negative, right?
Yeah.
I'm going left and up. Which one of these is negative? The 1/2. So you got to watch your signs. It's left 1/2, up radical 3/2. Okay, now I know that the side of the triangle is a positive value, right? It's 1/2. But when you're thinking of a coordinate, direction matters. So it's left 1/2 up. So there's that. Let's do another one. All right, now I'm going to ask Sean. Yes, Kev? An angle? All right, give me an angle that's either in quadrant 3 or 4, please. Okay. Sean? Okay, go ahead.
225.
Huh?
225.
Okay, 225. I want you guys to, well, let's just do it together. Sean, what's next? I got my dot. Now what? Oh, the radius? And put a 1 there, right? Okay. Giselle, what's next? Good. I'll take that. I'm going to give you a point for that, but that's not the next step. You want to take it, Gabriel? Yeah. So let's do the angle first, and then I'm going to do what you said, Giselle, okay? So we're going to go around like this. And what am I going to put out here for my angle? 225 is what he said, right? And then I'm going to do what Giselle said. Now, she said draw a line down to the x-axis, but this time we're going to draw a line from our dot, not down, but up to the x-axis. So, because it's upside down now, right? All right, now here's the thing. I don't care that this is 225. What I want to know, and I don't want anybody shouting it out, because I'm going to give you guys a minute to think, is I need to know what this angle is. Don't you guys agree? So take a moment and see if you can figure out what that angle is, that little piece. However you want to do it is fine. But I'm going to tell you the right way to figure it out. But some of you guys kind of just can tell by looking too.
Mr. Baby, is it possible to find the degree or that, like what we're learning today, from the other, like from the radians or the degrees?
Oh, instead of using degrees, use radians?
No, like, you know how we're trying to find the coordinates?
Yeah.
Is it possible to find the coordinates from the degrees or the radians?
I'm sorry. Let me come look. It is right, it's 45. Now, on the last one I did with you guys, I did 180 minus x equals the angle, right? This one's different though. This one is going to be 225 minus 180. So if I take the 225 and I take off the 180, don't you agree that's what that piece would be? So there's not just one way to do that. Okay, that's going to be different every time. You just have to think your way through it. But it does come out to be 45. Now, just so you guys know, the angle you're looking for is for the unit circle is always going to be 30, 45, or 60. So 45 looks like it's going right down the middle. 30 looks small. 60 looks big. You know, so you could probably just eyeball it, honestly. All right, so now that that's done, I'm going to ask you guys to tell me what are my coordinates. So I'm going to call on Jackie. What would these coordinates be? And? Good. We're good. Now, in case you guys haven't noticed, negative radical 2 over 2. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tell you guys that this circle is symmetrical. So I'm going to let you guys fill in the rest of your numbers, but as you do this, you've got to watch your signs, okay? So if you're using pencil, then go ahead and just start writing on your normal unit circle. If you're using pen, maybe do it on a side piece of paper for now in case you get something wrong. But let's go ahead. I want to show you guys some symmetry here because this circle is symmetrical. So what was this point over here? Oh, thank you. Radical 3 over 2 and 1/2. And this one was 1/2 radical 3 over 2. And this one was... Okay, now guys, this circle is symmetrical. Now Danielle asked us to do this one too, right? Remember that? And we got this. Which one does it seem to match on the right side? It's like a reflection of the 60, right? So this one and this one match, right? So what do you guys think this one's going to be? Right? I'm going to let you guys see if you can find all of them. Just watch your signs, negatives and positives. I'll give you a minute, and then I'll put the answer up so you can check it. Yeah, it's just symmetrical. So you just got to use the symmetry of the shape to kind of figure them out. Why? Just in case some people are having a hard time, why don't we just start going over it together now? So Jackie, this point, ooh, that's interesting. This point here in the middle, which one would we use to match it to? Yeah, like what? Well, I mean, I guess if you want to just tell me the answer, you can. What do you get? Same thing. Okay, because the point in the middle here, it's kind of like the same thing as this one, right? They're like a reflection of each other. So if this one's radical 2 over 2 and radical 2 over 2, so is this one. You just got to correct the sign. In this case, it's down and left, so they're both negative. Edleen, what's this coordinate going to be? Good. This point matches this point, right? It's like a reflection.
Oh.
All right, let's do another one. Armani, which point would this one be a reflection of?
It's going to be 1/2 and negative radical 3 over 2.
Very good. You even got the signs right. So this one is like a reflection of this one, or you can go to the top. They're all the same number, right? It's just signs are different. All right, let's do another one. How about Eric? What's this one going to be? Good. And then finally we have Jacob. What's this one going to be?
1/2 negative radical 3.
Okay, now that's the inner circle. Now what I'm going to do with the rest of our block is I'm going to share with you guys some ways that I've memorized these things. So why is this easy?
Oh, what? It's symmetrical.
No, why is
It's symmetrical.
The last. Oh wait. Yeah.
Oh, it is wrong. Sorry, these need to be reversed. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so this one is radical 3/2 and -1/2. Because it matches this one, right?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for correcting that. Now I'm going to share with you guys some patterns to help you remember this. Now I'm going to show you the way that I do it, but then I'm going to show you some things that I've seen other people do, and you can pick whichever one you want. But basically, guys, if you know one quadrant, then you know the rest, right? You just keep reflecting them all around.
Yeah.
Okay, so really all you need to do is know one quadrant, so that's why it's easy. So let me show you how I do it. I visualize those triangles. So when I see a dot up here, well, first of all, let me say this. All the ones in the middle, I already know those are the radical 2/2s, right? That's easy enough. But the one that's closest to the y-axis, I visualize a triangle in my head, and I see that, oh, the height, which is your y value, is bigger. You guys see that?
Oh, yeah.
Which means that for this one, it's the y that's the radical 3/2 because that's the bigger one. The x is the shorter one. That's how I do it. I just see a triangle and I match it that way. But I'll share with you some things that I saw other people doing. Look at this pattern. They're all over 2, right? Now for the x's, it goes 1, 2, 3. You see those numerators? 1, 2, 3. Y does the same thing going the other way. 1, 2, 3. You see
I
that?
had that idea.
Okay. Now here's another one. Here's another one. If I can find this one's kind of cool. If I can find it. Oh, is that our bell? Oh well. Thursday.